3.5 years ago, I did a video around here and people objected to me saying that I wouldn't live here in a million years because it's overhyped, overcrowded and too noisy. Which is fair enough. People are entitled to criticise me for that because a hell of a lot of people live here and absolutely love it. But quite a few people moved here and absolutely regretted it. So today, I'm going to have a walk around and see if I can change my mind. A lot of positive social media content, YouTube videos out there telling you how great this area is. Titles like Perfect Bangkok Suburb, Best Expat Area in the City, My Favourite Local Neighbourhood, Bangkok's Most Popular Neighbourhood, Bangkok's Hidden Gem. Real algorithm friendly titles, and I suppose a bit of rose tinted glasses and exaggeration is necessary to suck the viewers in. But what they're showing you in those videos is pretty much the same as most Bangkok neighbourhoods. So it begs the question, have they explored many other Bangkok neighbourhoods? Because if I sit down and start watching that video, I'm thinking to myself, this area had really better be something special. I put a post out on social media a couple of months back asking for pros and cons of On Nut, and this is what came up in the comments. Pros, plenty of condos near the SkyTrain station, lots of supermarkets, local markets, lots of other expats live in the area, some good places to eat and drink if you don't mind a bit of walking, easy to get the train into downtown Bangkok, plenty of fitness places. Cons, someone says here, I used to live in On Nut, but over the last few years it's become too crowded. Rents are too high, it's not really a high-class area. Apart from the SkyTrain, it's not very interesting. Far too many foreigners have moved in, lack of decent bars and restaurants, no green space or parks. There's a few homeless Westerners, and the last comment says, too many tourists. Several comments cited the abundance of cheap street food in On Nut as being a big advantage of living in the area, and the two food courts, one in Lotus Supermarket, one in Big C Supermarket. And I'm just looking around the food court now at Lotus, and I'm thinking, well, if this is one of the selling points that gets foreigners moving to this area, then God help us. Across the road from Lotus is the Century Mall. This is mostly food outlets. There's a cinema there as well, and a shortcut to the Avani Hotel. Century Mall was built on the old On Nut beer garden, which used to be famous in the old days. And I'm wondering if any old school foreigners living around here would much prefer the beer garden to still be there rather than Century Mall. Leave a comment, let me know. This old shop house building is the last one in this part of Sukhumvit Road, probably soon to be demolished. They're standing firm at the moment. There's also a piece of history still remaining just further down. The Metropolitan Waterworks have an old water tower there, which is squeezed in between two condos. And then across the road over there on the corner is another old building that will soon be demolished because that land has been earmarked for another new condo. There was one comment from a guy who said his favourite pastime is to do a bit of people watching from the 7-Eleven coffee shop. And I thought there's not many 7-Elevens with coffee shops. Then I saw this place and I thought, oh, that must be where he sits and watches people go by on Sukhumvit Road. Well, Talat Noi has the Fiat 600 car, On Nut has the broken down 98 bus, and you can see all the years of rivets, metal sheets and polyfiller holding it together. I'm sure it'll be back in service very soon. So I've chatted to and I've met a lot of people over the years who have moved to On Nut and then regretted it a short time later. Now, the problem was they were stuck in 6 or 12-month condo contracts, so were more or less stranded. Now, they didn't say it was a terrible or a dangerous area. The main complaint was that there were more foreigners around here than they realised, and they felt a bit misled by social media, influencers' videos or YouTube, that kind of thing. Now, one of the most common questions I get asked when people want advice on moving to Bangkok is, what's the best area to live in where there are less foreigners around? And On Nut is definitely not one of them. A couple of comments mentioned this area. I think it's called T77. I haven't seen a sign or anything. Anyway, it's totally self-contained. I could definitely see myself living in a place like this, but we're quite a way away from On Nut BTS station area. We're actually on the Prakanong side of the canal, and there's an exit going out onto Priti Banomyong Soi 2. So really we're in Prakanong, but I could certainly see myself living up there in one of those condos. Pretty nice views as well. Under the flyover here, there is what's called a 15-minute park. And there are pathways and a few trees planted, but there's no fresh air, there's no peace and quiet. You've got the expressway directly above you. But if you were clutching at straws and you wanted a green space, this, I think, would suffice. Right next to the 15-minute park, there is a nice little canal side walk here. It's not very long, but it is quite secluded and you can get away from it all. But don't come here if you suffer from paranoia, because you might feel you're being spied on by the people living in the condos up here on Sukhumvit Soi 48. And I'm pretty sure they were looking down at me and laughing the other day when I got caught out in the rain here. So the car park for Lotus Supermarket will soon become a thing of the past, because there is a new project planned here. I believe it's a mixed use project, and that was inevitable because originally when Lotus opened here in 1999 there was no SkyTrain, it wasn't a prime spot, but obviously times change. So while that is being built there will be no car parking for Lotus customers, which probably won't affect foreigners living in the area, but that will mean another tall building around the SkyTrain station here at On Nook. So I'm struggling to make a case for this area as a desirable location to live if you're a foreigner. It's already been colonized by tons of foreigners already. And seriously, if On Nook is the limit of your aspirations of making a new life in Bangkok, then I think you ought to hang back and do a bit more research. They say you can tell a lot about a neighborhood by the type of foreigners you see getting off the train there. All different countries, all different walks of life, all different social classes, mostly men. But there are good things that people say about this area, like the supermarkets and the markets. You've got a fresh market, you've got Big C and Lotus, which, let's be honest, are second tier supermarkets. They're not on a par with Tops, Villa or Gourmet Market. There is plenty of street food in this area, but you probably won't eat it every day, otherwise you get bored of it. There are plenty of bars and restaurants around here, but they are scattered a little bit. And that is always the criticism I've had of this area, is that there's no central hub where everything is, where people go, like the bars and the restaurants. So if you want to go from one bar to another bar, you might have to walk down On Nook Road, Sukhumvit Road, cross over Sukhumvit Road, which is quite difficult. There's only 2 footbridges, there's no zebra crossings. So you probably find yourself walking up to On Nook BTS station to cross there. And that is just a busy and hectic hub at the best of times. People do cite the cheap condo rental prices around here, although I do beg to differ. I think they're a little bit overpriced. If you're going to pay that money, the area should have a lot more to offer. There's no green space around here, for example, for miles around. And you would get a much bigger, better place if you go down the road to Bang Na or further down to Samut Prakan, although I do understand if people don't want to live that far out. But you're only talking 10 or 15 minutes extra on the SkyTrain if you're going into downtown Bangkok. So overall, I think you can do a lot better than On Nook. There are loads of different neighborhoods around Bangkok. It's a huge city. But if your heart is set on moving here, I would still say try it out for a month or 2 in an Airbnb and see if you like it. Well, that's On Nook in a nutshell. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Please do subscribe if you haven't already done so. Like, share, leave a comment. If you want to support me and support the channel, you can do so via the Buy Me a Coffee link on the screen. That just leaves me to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.